AI, especially generative AI, was a hot topic in 2023, and that momentum is going to continue in 2024. Shaun O'Meara, field CTO at Mirantis, makes some exciting predictions around why we will see more organizations focusing on running AI models more effectively and more cost efficiently. He also makes some predictions around standardization and more standardized Kubernetes platforms that are actually production ready. He also predicts that open source will play a much larger role in the AI space. So let's deep dive into these predictions with Shaun.
It's great to be here. Always a pleasure to chat to you.
I don't know if you are holding your previous card for predictions or if I'm holding it, but we are going to once again ask you to kind of have a peek into your crystal ball and share those predictions that you have for us. But before that, let's just talk about Mirantis. You folks announced some product last year. So let's look at Mirantis in today's world in 2024.
2023 was a great year for us. We launched a number of new open source projects and we've grown from strength to strength. Our business at the moment is very stable and growing with our existing customer base. We've got some fantastic customers, one of our biggest assets as we move forward. Moving into 2024, a lot more focus on that customer base and our influence on the open source community, especially as pertains to how we think about cloud native support for our customers, and a big focus in some of our larger customers and how to support their move into the future.
Now it's time for you to pick your crystal ball and share your predictions with us.
Everybody's talking about AI and the hype of 2023 and everything that was going on with the large language models is just really scraping the surface of what AI is capable of. So for us, what we're thinking about more is what are people going to need to do to actually use these AI models in reality? So our predictions for 2024, we're going to see a lot more organizations focusing on how to run AI models effectively and especially cost effectively. And that really looks at the whole ecosystem needed to launch and run not just large language models, but ML models in real production scenarios. Moving towards more cookie cutter scenarios and products that support that. Further to that, I think, and I feel strongly, we're going to see a lot more commoditization in the AI space. With the launch of more open source models, more and more people talking about using RAG, retrieval augmented generation models. Companies are going to be able to take advantage of these AI models without necessarily having to train their own models. And even in some cases with a lot less fine-tuning necessary, allowing more solutions in the real world that are actually useful from an AI point of view. And I think the third area that we're going to see, and an area that's very interesting to Mirantis as well, is point solution AI models. Large language models are fantastic because they allow everybody, your grandmother and the like, to interact with machines in ways that were not possible before. But as we move forward, that's a very expensive approach to machine learning and to AI. So if we can we'll start to see more smaller AI models, more point solution models that'll come into everyday life. And as we were both at KubeCon earlier this year, or last year now, and there were some very interesting solutions being presented there of AI on chips, for video solutions, audio solutions, and in the home. Other areas that we feel we're going to see massive changes coming in 2024 is more what's closer to our hearts and the Kubernetes platforms and the way people run Kubernetes platforms. So we're going to see much more standardization across the industry of platform engineering toolkits. We've been talking, we see a lot of different organizations trying to implement Kubernetes, and the complexity of Kubernetes is still there. I feel strongly we're going to see more standardized Kubernetes platforms that are actually production ready. And we're going to start to see companies starting to abstract more from the Kubernetes complexity for the developers. But now real world, we've been talking about it for a while. I actually see that implementation coming in 2024. And then the last area, which I think is really interesting, it's again something that's been talked about for a long time, but the real rise in the open source AI and machine learning tool sets that we've seen over the last 18 months is going to drive forward true ML ops, machine learning based operations of IT infrastructure. One of the challenges with ML ops up till now has always been how do I actually implement something by people who understand operations? Now all of a sudden those tool sets are available and quite accessible to people who don't have degrees in machine learning. And now they're starting to take advantage of those. We're slowly seeing more and more companies really implementing ML ops to alleviate the pressure on their scarce engineering resources.
Thanks for sharing those predictions. Now, when we look at these predictions, or if you look at the general trend in the space this year, what kind of new challenges that you think will emerge, or you see some of the older challenges will still be there?
So the challenges I think we're going to see, once again, related to the AI challenge, challenge of running AI in the real world, is cost management in particular. Cost management of where to run your AI workloads. As I was saying, makes it very easy to run an AI workload on top of one of the hyperscalers. The challenge there is it becomes very expensive very fast, and you need to be able to make decisions on where to run those workloads depending on what you're trying to achieve and be the most cost effective. Whether you need a A10 or an L10 NVIDIA GPU for training jobs that can take longer, or L100 GPUs for inference work that has very tight response timelines. Other challenge areas that I think we're going to see when it comes towards our customers, specifically Mirantis customers, is once again the challenge of finding resources to help them maintain and run these infrastructures. Kubernetes is still complicated. That complexity is probably growing rather than shrinking as the capabilities grow. And customers are looking for ways to help them abstract that, maybe unload some of that complexity so that they can focus on what they need to do to grow their businesses.
And if you look at these challenges, and as you mentioned some of those trends earlier, predictions, what is going to be Mirantis' focus this year?
So Mirantis is once again focusing on what we do really well, which is help our large customers and some of our smaller customers really ensure that their infrastructures are robust and stable and able to move forward with the times to take advantage of those cloud native technologies that are becoming core to the business. We're also going to be helping many of our customers make migration work, so move from more legacy infrastructure solutions to more modern infrastructure solutions so that they can more easily take advantage of both on-premise cloud solutions, but public cloud solutions as well.
Shaun, thank you so much for taking time out today and share these predictions with us. And of course, as usual, I look forward to chat with you again soon. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.